Ah. Maybe that would be it. Okay. All right. So now we figured it out. Where it says USB out.
Oh my God. Okay, well, hey, we got it now.
Yeah, so we got it now. Hi.
Cool.
It's preseason.
Yes, it is preseason. So USB out, and I'm sure that it's a lot more crisp. See, now that I know that right there, USB
People on
out.
the stream going, sound
I was really
is a
nervous
good
that
thing.
you were about to hit like the off button, and
I'm just it's like
knocked everything
I'm
out
saying
of
it's like the USB out function
Okay.
is where we are.
All right,
so
cool.
that's
we got it.
So D Graham's going to blame the owl, and so now that we know.
Well, why are you blaming
yes.
Kennesaw? What? Why are you blaming Kennesaw?
No, I think D Graham's talking the 280 character app. I don't think he's talking about
Hootie
Kennesaw
who?
State. No, he's not talking about.
I was
Kennesaw
gonna say,
State.
don't
Wrong bird.
Yeah,
don't,
wrong. Yeah.
Don't come
No.
for the
Okay,
owls.
so here's the deal.
Okay.
It's me and technology first and foremost.
Yes.
So there's a knob, and so everything when all the cables come into the computer, everything goes to there's a fifth function that pops up. And it's that fifth function that you go to for audio, fifth function that you go to for video. But you have to come over here to the audio board and hit this particular section over here because it is a USB cable and it goes into the board. So now it should be crisp audio for those of you that are working your way here and hanging out with us.
You know how you get everybody back on board?
By not talking?
No.
Me not talking is usually
it's
a
not
plus.
that.
What?
You just look out over the crowd. All
Hey,
the Atlanta fans.
we need a cheap pop here.
And you just go, Miggy is home.
See, you went for the cheap pop.
I did. It was low-hanging fruit, but it worked.
Yeah,
I liked
absolutely.
it. That was good.
So we need to find out what's happening on the Royal Rumble tonight because that's going on too. Apparently, Alexa Bliss is in fact back.
I haven't followed much of anything.
No,
so
it's literally like
this is a Tommy question.
Yeah. So if you like watch the last two shows before any pay-per-view, then you're caught up.
Yeah, that
it's
is
like
true.
soap operas.
Yeah.
So now that we know, all right. Thank you, OG. It is crisp. So it is turning up a knob in addition to going to the fifth option. Now we know this here in the preseason. All right. There was a match today. Now that we've kind of worked our way back around to why you're here after 4 minutes. We made it.
We're
Finally.
back.
There was a match today over at Protective Stadium. We were all sitting in a row except for Maddie, who was really busy, and she became dehydrated because she was.
I was Sophia Cupertino for the day.
Yeah, so she was shooting all of our stills and all that stuff.
Lots of running.
Those will be up those will be up soon. And no Miguel Almiron, but he is in fact back. And you got to see a lot of things that Ronnie Dyla wanted to work on from last week in Chattanooga to here today. From those things that he talked about when we were surrounding him a week ago, where he said at one point, because of all of the play going backward, that he was bored. What are your instant takeaways now that we're 90 minutes or so away from a match over at Protective Stadium? What's your instant analysis of Atlanta United having played Birmingham Legion to a 2-0 win?
Instant improvement. I think 1 week it was almost like night and day. I mean, obviously it's preseason. There's still lots of kinks that need to be worked out. But it's not that Chattanooga was a bad game. Chattanooga was okay. It's just you had some unfortunate, silly mistakes that turned into goals, but that's preseason. That's what you expect. Fast forward a week, and your discipline is there. Your young guy and Noah Cobb is helping keep your back line in order, which is super impressive.
2.0.
Yep.
And I was really impressed in the first 30 minutes or so. Like their shape, they were so compact, they were so disciplined. I thought Bartek Slish did a great job as captain. It was impressive. And yeah, there's still little kinks to work out. But I mean, Ronnie said it. We had less backwards passing. He said I could do with maybe even less. But, steps in the right direction, more play involved on the wings, and more play through the middle. Got Miranchuk involved in the second half more. I feel like your midfield was heavily involved in the first half. So lots of improvement.
Was that one thump by Miranchuk? Was that one of the most I mean,
I audibly gasped when I was on the sideline for that one. That one was when I was right there with my camera, and I was like, and then I just kept shooting because I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, he just turned his foot at the right angle and said, "Here,
and it
go.
was beautiful.
You go in the goal."
That was beautiful.
And I
liked
mean, it was blocked by the Legion defense, but but just the three-dimensional thought that was there, and he's just like, okay, I'm just going to do this, and it's just like doink. And the fact that you've got to be ready for that as a defense now, involving a front line as the chase for the 9 continues, and the next time that you will be on the morning show, as Tommy asks us, is it Wednesday morning? At 9:15 on the network, Tyler comes and joins us. When the deadline will have passed, and it will be 2 days into the 2 days further into the MLS window at that point. The Emmanuel Latte Lot sweepstakes and conversations and discussions. By the way, it looks like we're going to have Craig Johns from the Gazette and Teesside live on with us Monday morning.
Sweet.
And it'll be like Monday afternoon for him, and so he'll just be talking about the end of the window.
Nice.
Middlesbrough beat writer.
Yeah,
right?
Middlesbrough beat writer for
Wow.
Teesside Live in the Gazette.
Awesome.
We just have to figure out what time.
Yeah.
Right now, it's looking like Saba, a 9, Miggy. Then you have a midfield that could be in various forms and functions. Click, click, boom. Miranchuk, Sleesh, Jay Fortune, Tristan Muyumba.
Yeah.
And
I would
then-
arguably say Sleesh and Jay. I would arguably say that just because of the connection that they have together already. And I mean, even just in that first half with both of them, I mean, the passing they were doing, the communication they had, I would arguably put Jay in that starting position over Click.
Yeah, I mean, and I think overall though, like your midfield is in a
loaded.
very good place. Like that Polish connection, like
Yeah, absolutely.
Slish and Click, it's not just that they're both Polish; they're good friends, right? Like they know each other. It's not just they happen to be on the same team.
The Polish Hammers.
Yeah, the Polish Hammers. But then you add in Jay, who is just like on this crazy growth curve. He's doing so well that Ronnie Dyla's got a lot of tools. At any point, he can change the midfield for whatever he needs.
Yep.
And that's a good place to be, because you think back to the past 3, 4, 5 years for Atlanta United, and the midfield has been such a flux of players, and maybe like sometimes they have good games, sometimes they don't. And now I think you've got guys there that they complement each other well, and they are adaptable to where they can change really at the drop of a hat and kind of alter the entire flow of the game.
Yeah, and I thought Tristan Moyumba in Chattanooga and in this game too, when he was on, I thought he had a great game too when he was playing as well. Him connecting with Saba, especially in that sequence where the own goal what happened there, that whole sequence, I was like, that's brilliant. I thought, especially just the way the midfield has been looking this season, I think right now that is like, whew, watch out. Like, that's going to be crazy. And then you add, obviously, now we got Saba, then you get Mickey back, now you got Miranchuk, and then possibly this is number 9 up top. Whew. Listen. I'm not trying to speak too soon, but.
And
ooh.
today, we got to see Togashi-san.
My man.
And you got the first substantive minutes of Togashi being integrated into what Ronnie Dyla is looking for him to do.
I really, really like the energy that Togashi brings. I think he is like, you think of strikers, right? You think of center forwards, you think of number 9s, and you think goals. And obviously that's what they're always judged on, and they're going to tell you the same thing. But this man has, in 90 minutes now of play in the preseason, he has not stopped running at all. And it's
so
just,
he fits with Saba and Sleesh.
And Jamal, too. Today he was playing like every position.
Yeah, he was everywhere. At one point, I'm like, oh, Jamal, the center back. He's
Jamal's
way
there.
back there.
Jamal is 6, just let him go.
They're hanging out.
But no, I mean, Togashi, I think what I really like about him, and he's got this like really cool partnership with Will Riley as well, but like they come in, he comes in, and he even puts out on Instagram, he's like, I'm working so hard for this club, like I'm so happy to be here. And then he gets out there and he keeps center backs honest. He is all over the place. He is making sure that they don't feel a moment of comfort. And that right there by itself, that opens up your wings. It opens up your midfield. It allows your other players to do the other work, even if the work that he's doing is the ugly work, right? But I've been very impressed with him. I mean, and I'm glad he got rewarded today. That goal, he deserved it. He really did.
Beautiful setup too. Gosh.
Yes.
A beautiful
Ronnie.
set piece from good Ronald Hernandez. Ooh.
Okay.
Perfectly placed.
Bobby Boswell, according to the Colonel, said the most important position on the pitch is the 8. Nagby proved it. Now Atlanta got 8s.
Multiple.
Yeah.
Plural.
I made it to the broadcast. What?
Yeah. But then you were like off.
Oh,
could you
I was,
remember
like,
when you
off
were
on the-
eating?
yeah.
When you went in 8? When people dive in and
I
dive
thought you were
out.
talking about like broadcast like me
No.
on the actual stream. I was like, how?
Well, I mean, unless
probably,
Mike
you
and
saw
Jason
me,
were talking about you on the sidelines,
Me
I
snapping
wasn't
some
listening. I don't
photos.
I'm
Snapping some
sorry.
photos.
know.
I don't know. Hey,
Look,
but
I don't know if they were talking about Manny on the broadcast.
you got a midfield now that is very solid. You have a midfield now that is very, very concrete. And I said it on Off the Woodwork last week after Chattanooga. I really like Sleesh wearing the captain's armband. I really do. I think, especially if you don't have Brad, and especially I think for when you get Leagues Cup, I think Leagues Cup, that will probably be where you see different people wearing it. I could see Miguel also possibly wearing that as well, since he captained a lot of times with Newcastle as well, and he has grown a lot as a player. I could see him taking on that mantle. I also could see Sleesh doing it because I really liked him being that captain, because just the way that he can read the game and he can be that vocal and that force, especially in the midfield. Me and Sophia have talked about it a couple of times. She obviously played up in that midfield part, but we both prefer, to have our captain be in the midfield, because I feel like they
100%.
direct a lot of the things. I don't mind Brad. I think Brad's a great captain. I mean, number one, for starters, Brad's a phenomenal captain. I think Sleesh did a great job today of navigating that, of putting the pieces together, holding people accountable, and being that captain and just driving it. And I really liked seeing that from him, especially today. I really liked it.
Yeah, and two things on that. I mean, Dyla touched on it a little bit. He wants Slish to take that next step. He wants him to be more vocal. He wants him to kind of step up as that leader. And I mean, if you look at the contract that he has, like, he's here, right? And he's at like a perfect age to really grow and develop as a leader, not only in soccer in general, but for Atlanta United. And then you look at Miggy, and that's like that's going to be the fan favorite no matter what. But Miggy kind of comes into the equation. We talked with Garth at the press conference yesterday, and kind of what he said about Miggy is, with him being quite literally, and we all know this, the hardest worker in the room, every player has to up their game, because you have a player now who he made it to the Premier League. He did well in the Premier League. He scored Newcastle's first Champions League goal in 20 years. And now he comes back. So a player that is playing for Atlanta can't look at him and do less than he's doing, because he should be, by all accounts, be able to like sit back and say, hey, I did it. But he's not going to do that, because that's not Miggy.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting too, especially with the caliber that you have of what Miggy can do. Miggy has been the captain at Newcastle. He's taken on that leadership role a couple of times, but he also knows when to kind of step back and let other people go. That's the great thing about Miguel. And I also think he doesn't need to wear the captain's armband, because he's already going to be that driven leader. And that's something I think that goes like unnoticed. Like, you have someone who wears the captain's band, but it's those people who are on the pitch that are those leaders who do command that. I think Saba's done that for a little bit. Yep. I think Miguel has done it even when he's not wearing the captain's armband with Newcastle. I mean, there's a reason why Jeff Loren, I found a really great article on MLS. They did it back in 2021 or 22, and they talked about Miguel, and they talked about it was everything that led up him being at Newcastle, what he's done. Jeff Loranowitz said there's a reason he was the heartbeat of this team. And I completely agree with that, because of just the drive that he has and what he's able to do and how hardworking he is. And he puts other people to the level of like, let's work harder. Let's get this going. Let's keep it rolling. And I'm excited to see where that fits into the equation, especially with just who Miguel is, and then having him be brought in, and then just seeing just everything. And, as a fan back in 2017, being
way
a
back
founding
in
member.
2017 when I was a fan.
Sophia did say she was 12 when it happened.
That pissed me off,
Sophia
right?
was 12.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen, Sophia was 12.
I was recording their video, and she was like,
Yeah.
I saw him here when I was 12 years old. And I was like,
Timeout.
Get out.
Yeah, it was. I will say, being in that press conference, it made me tear up a little bit. That was really cool, getting to see him come back and hearing him talk about all that. And I'm just excited. Every time we talk about it, I'm like, ooh, I'm so pumped.
I mean, y'all know how I feel. If you've seen my rants, like I am so happy that Mickey's back. But you talk about his character, and one of the things that really stood out to me yesterday in that press conference, I mean, obviously his smile, like he's just happy to be here. He made the comment to Chris Henderson kind of off the side when Chris was talking about how hard they worked to bring him back, and he kind of was like, thank you, and kind of leaned over. And then at the end, when they're clearing out the stage to do the picture, he's up there just helping them move chairs and move microphones. And it's just like the guy's, he's just a good guy. And that's as important to the club as him going out there and performing on the field, because they need that culture change.
And the video of him going to see the staff inside the training center.
That
little tear.
Awesome.
I mean, it's
and
like
he said, I told you I was going to be back. I was like, oh.
Well, but and the lesson, treat everyone equally that you come across, because you never know when you're going to see that individual again, how important that person is to a larger picture, those kinds of things.
Yep.
We're reminded of that every day. I would do the breaking news sounder.
Oh, no.
No, it has nothing to do with Atlanta United.
Oh.
But it is MLS
Scared.
breaking news.
Breaking news. Let's do it.
Pretty big breaking news.
LA Galaxy acquire $4 million from Sporting Kansas City in exchange for Dejan Joveljic.
Wow.
20 minutes ago, it came out. So the first ever intra-MLS deal for cash is the Bishop, Dejan Joveljic, going to Sporting Kansas City. So Peter Vermes gets to yell at Dejan Joveljic now. First ever deal done. 44 goals, 18 assists, 122 appearances across all comps. And it was 21-8 in 33 matches across all comps for LA in the 2024 campaign. But $4 million goes from Sporting Kansas City to LAG for Dejan Joveljic.
Wow.
So now, separately, LAG has no Ricky Puig to start the season. And now no Dejan Joveljic up top, but they got $4 million bones to sit there and figure out what they want to do for a replacement.
It's really good for SKC. SKC needs a guy like that.
They need somebody to score who's not 38.
Exactly. They don't need Peter Vermes' like friends that are still there.
Am I forget? Sorry, let me rethink my train of thought.
Sure.
Doesn't Sporting? Am I thinking of the right team? Didn't they acquire Joseph?
No. Not San Jose.
San Jose.
SKC,
That's what I got it wrong. Thank
SKC
you.
did have Ronaldo's discovery rights.
I got you. Thank you.
And there was
Continue.
the big article about how Cristiano Ronaldo was this close to being at Sporting Kansas City.
Crazy.
Because he went to talk to Patrick Mahomes. It's like, what's it like to live there? What's the deal? And and he told him, it's like, look, you can come here and you can go out in public and go eat. You can live a normal life if you sign a contract here in Kansas City if you're CR 37.
Yeah.
And so he went and signed an $11 gazillion deal to be in Saudi Arabia. So,
and this is where the Galaxy are seeing. I mean, this happens to every MLS Cup winner, right? Like you're the thing. You're the thing everybody wants, and the players that did well, like they're a part of the market now, and. Now MLS introduces this new mechanism to bring in.
Should have been
other players.
introduced a long
100%.
time ago.
But I mean, SKC, good for them for taking advantage of it. I'm glad that they ponied up some money to make it happen. And now LA Galaxy, like you said, like Ricky Puig is out for at least half the season probably, and they've lost some talent. And it's going to be very hard to go and do the same thing they did in 2024.
No doubt.
So unfortunate too. One of the funnest players to watch last season was Ricky Puig. Like he was arguably obviously looking at besides Atlanta, he was my favorite player to watch like any time. If I saw a highlight, I'm sad. Like I'm watching it to the very end. He is a player that I'm excited to see him develop and grow. It's really unfortunate they don't have him. LA Galaxy has a lot of talent. They still do, even when they don't. They're missing two of those key players.
And they're going to spend that money.
Yep.
Then you got $4 million now. Why not? You got the opportunity, and that's them making those moves and trying to pick some things up.
Vanny's like, okay, so we got $4 million here. So
they're like,
how much more can I get? to go chase after folks. Because seriously,
Yeah,
you've got to.
Yeah, you have to.
You've got to chase after the hashtag Pooj replacement.
You have to find somebody.
And then you got to find what you want to do with the Bishop, who came in and was your second striker, occasional starter, but he would come in sometimes 30 minutes to go, and he would crush it, and he'd get a brace in less than 30. And now you got to figure out who's going to be that dude. Who's going to be that dude?
Well, he was, and I always like the LA Galaxy 2024 team. I loved it so much because it kind of made me reminisce a little bit about like Atlanta United, honestly. And they deserve to win the cup. And I felt like he was 2024 Galaxy's Tito Villalba.
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy that could come in, and he wasn't always going to start, but when he came in, he was going to make an impact.
The microwave.
There you go.
So Dejan Jovic is the microwave. Are you going to go down to IMG Academy and go and hang out for the next 10 days?
Not all 10. I will be there for the weekend match, which I think is New England, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds good.
Nice.
Sounds right, yeah. So I will be there for at least one of the matches.
3 matches in a week span. They got to add the third one as a part of the process. And I think they're leaving Tuesday. And they're going to be down there through that third match that we're talking about. I want to say on the 12th.
Yeah, so it's like they leave Tuesday, and then I think they play that last match the following Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken.
So it's like 10 days down in Bradenton. He's going for some of it.
Why are you looking at me? Are you telling me that I need to go?
I think somebody should go. I think Jason's going to be down there for some of it.
Listen, I'll do it. You act like I won't. I'm crazy. Let's do it.
I know you're crazy, and that's why you would do it.
Florida's been my
I don't know. The
home
last time
lately.
the last time I was in Hartsville Jackson, though, I don't know if I want to. That was. Jesus, that was the worst experience of my life. Guys, that was the worst experience ever.
How many hours did you stand in line trying to get on a plane?
3 hours.
Do you have either clear or pre-check TSA?
No, but pre-check was just as bad. Pre-check was 75-minute wait.
But you need to get the TSA pre-check deal.
Pre-check wouldn't have helped. I mean,
75 versus 180. That doesn't help you.
No, well, it started. Here's the thing. It started with my line being around 50 minutes. Pre-check was 75 when I first started.
Okay.
So then as we got in, it worked. Everything was fine. Pre-check continued to go up just like our line did. At some point, pre-check went down because then they had a snake all the way through that first part to then sneak back around to the left just to take us back to the right side. Just to take, why would you not move us? Anyway, I was so mad.
Yes, she was.
And then our flight got delayed. And then our flight got delayed.
How many times? She doesn't hold on to anything either.
Not even a little bit.
No.
There's no ill feelings at all.
No memory of it.
What are you talking about? I'm fine. Everything's good.
Everything's blocked out now. So there's like this void of time that no longer
exists. Fine. Everything's fine.
Oh yeah, see?
I'm good.
Put it all behind you now.
Yeah, it's all behind her.
Listen, I will. If you gave me a look and I was like, am I going to Bradenton?
No,
Why not?
I know how you're wired, and I know how things go.
Why not?
When it comes to this kind of stuff, she never hangs on to anything. She always lets it go. Always very, very easy, even keeled, the whole thing.
It's a good characteristic.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't, probably not. No.
Hashtag sarcasm.
Definitely not.
She's like, are we talking about the same person?
Yeah, really?
Sorry, I zoned out. I was drinking my drink and I zoned out.
As you should. Right now, it's looking like the Emmanuel Latte Loth is going to go down to the wire. If not past the wire. But you can't quite go past the wire because then you're Big Ben chimes and everything's supposed to be done.
Duncan McGuire proved that. So.
Yes. Make sure you check the correct folder.
Please hit the submit button.
Yes. Submit, not in drafts, those kinds of things. This is going to go, my gut tells me this is going to go down to like the wire of wires. We're all going to be sitting there Monday afternoon at like, 7, 6, whatever, the spring forward fall back. I think
it's going to be 11:59.
Yeah, so what's like 7 o'clock
is when we're going to find out.
I think. Well, no, I mean like
there. Yeah.
Like Big Ben chimes at midnight. I think it's 7 o'clock.
Yeah, we're 5 hours right
so
now.
7 o'clock Monday.
5.
7 o'clock Monday night.
Yep.
So we'll hopefully have answers by then. And it's either 20+2 or 22 and add-ons. I've seen things as high as 28 from folks.
18+7.
Yeah. So and that is an odd number for me. I have yet to see a percentage that high involving a player transfer with add-ons.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about that. Like, I'm a big fan of add-ons personally because, I mean, obviously your motivation should be just to go play soccer and like you're making enough money, if we're being honest. But like, if what it takes to get you here, if you want to be here anyway, and to then perform even better, is that extra, I don't know, $1 million that might hit your bank account if you score X many goals or whatever. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm cool with it. If Atlanta's cool with paying it and the player accepts it, then by all means, like, make it happen. If that's what it takes to squeak out that extra little bit of production, I'm cool with it.
So as we go here, it is Saturday night, which is all right for fighting in some circles. And she's looking at me like, that's an anecdote. I don't know what you're talking about. That's your Google search.
Okay.
This is going to go down to the wire. We know it is. Yep. And the biggest thing is just, okay, just check your sources. Check this.
Yep. Just, make sure you have all your sources checked. Make sure you know everything.
Check the number of followers.
You go. Yeah.
Check those kinds of things.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to the wire though, especially with just reports and everything. It's gonna come down to the wire. It just because of the way the deal was already shaping out in certain things. Now it's okay. Now there's a push. Now it's like, okay, now it's like either you go or it's done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to cut to the wire.
All right. So in this week, past the time that you're with us next and the time that you head down to IMG, what are you looking forward to is the next step of growth in the growth curve for Atlanta United under Ronnie Dyla?
Taking away the obvious, getting your DP number 9, which I do fully expect it to happen. And I think Tom Bogert is getting sick and tired of people doubting him. I don't know if y'all have seen his tweets lately. But
yeah. His 280 character app is lit up with people go, so what about this? Yeah.
But besides that, no, I think the next step would be obviously the more progressive passes, which has been like obviously a point of contention. Like play the ball forward more. I didn't see the stream, but if you've paid attention to Ronnie Dyla in the past 2 streams, you can literally see him telling people to play the ball forward. Like he's gesturing, and I thought it was cool to see him with some of the younger players. Like when Chankwi was on that side, he's telling him like, no, you need to move here. You need to be here. Like the positioning and tweaking things. But more than that, I think you're getting close because you're going to have 3 matches in 10 days. Mm-hmm. So you need to see, 60 minutes out of some of these guys, maybe even more. I mean, you had Noah Cobb and Luke Brennan played a full, 90 today. But it's now fine-tuning things and just seeing more of the chemistry built between pockets of players, the wings, the fullbacks, and then the center backs and the goalkeeper. So it's those interchanges between like certain sides. And then the other thing that I like what I've seen out of the first 2 matches is the big switches, the plays over the top from one side to the other, building on one side, pulling the defense in, and then playing that ball over the top to a guy that's now found himself wide open. And you saw a lot of that today, and I think you'll see a lot more of it.
What about you?
Yeah. I mean, you're slowly starting to see things connect. You're slowly starting to see things really form. Obviously, you're missing a couple of these key guys, especially, Steon, Derek, Pedro, and then obviously adding Miggy to the mix. I mean, making sure and connecting all these pieces, it's all coming together very nicely. I like some of the combinations I saw. I mentioned Jay and Sleesh. I think they're a combo that works so well together. I will mention Dominic again because Dominic played so good today. I mean, just watching him grow has been awesome, and getting to see him connect. I mean, I said it against Chattanooga. He was connecting there up top with everyone. His connection with Saba today too was great. And you saw Saba too, kind of helping him out, giving him some instructions here and there on what to do. And Dominic takes it. Dominic is a hard worker. We saw it with the 2s. We're going to see it this season with the 2s again. And there's a reason why he has a homegrown deal for next year. He's already improving this much, and we're already seeing so much of him. He is being molded into this left back. I mean, left back university. Let's go. Yeah. That's Atlanta United.
And he's
That's
receptive.
What it is.
He's receptive to the learning. That's what's so cool to see. I mean, all these young guys are, but it's so cool to see him taking advice from everybody around him and doing it like right there on the spot.
And Noah too. I'll give Noah and Ephra. They had great games today as well. Just closing it down. Noah, whenever he's been chosen to step up, he's in it. He played 90 today, and he was amazing. And we didn't even, sorry, I bring back Dominic because we need to talk about this one moment. I literally sat there and I was like, that's amazing. Ball was about to go into the neck, and Dominic just runs up, clears it. I was like, that's amazing. Yeah. Yes. I thought those formations were great. I thought Luke Brennan is really growing into his own a lot. I think you're seeing him really grow into that player. I think you're going to see that continue this season. Maranchuk is also, he's getting hot. He's making those passes. He's
Atlanta
connecting.
United, understanding what Ronnie Dyla wants.
Yeah, you're seeing it.
Yeah.
And Ronald Hernandez, before we get out of here. I want to talk about Ronnie, and Ronnie was on the left-hand side today. Before we see if we can bring some folks from the backup to talk with you about Atlanta.
With me?
United.
Okay, cool.
So we'll see if we can bring them up in a sec. But Ronald Hernandez, go.
Ronald is a player. When we talked to him last season, me and Jason, when we talked to him, Ronald is a player that bleeds for this team. He, in turn, reminds me a lot of Miguel in how they bleed for whatever club they're a part of. Ronnie does. Ronald is that player. He's that player that is a heartbeat, and he can play wherever you want him to. He literally said to Mike and Jason after the Columbus game, when we beat them 2-1, play me anywhere. I will play wherever you need me to play because I want to help the team in any way I can. He's all about helping the team. And that's so important, especially obviously with Brooks Lennon being out for these first couple of games. Having him be so solid back there, having him be a player you can rely on to come in and bring some energy and also play wherever you need him to play. We've seen him come and be a right back, be a left back, be a center back. He can be wherever you need him to be. And I thought today he showed that level of just experience that he has and what he's able to do. And also just being versatile and just what his capabilities are. I think Ronald is a player that I really have. I think he's a great player and a great addition to the club and how long he's been here. He's been a consistent, and he's been someone that I think has been overlooked with his involvement and how important he is to Atlanta.
And the fact that he had the potential to leave, right?
Yep.
And he decided to work with the club to maybe restructure some things with a contract and stay. And you've seen he's that guy that's always there for the club. Always there. He's been lovingly called Rocket Ronnie by Henry back here. That is his favorite nickname. Actually, at that Columbus game, that was where it came from. Because that Columbus game last year for Ronnie, to me, was one of his best games I've ever seen.
Bring in Jason.
But yeah, I think Ronnie, he's the unsung hero of Atlanta United, and he has been for a long time.
Jason,
I'm just crashing the party here.
There you go.
As you should.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
Come join. Absolutely. 4-way dance now.
What are the storylines coming out of you, Maddie? Different perspectives.
Yeah,
so.
you're seeing a complete picture. I think you're slowly starting seeing the pieces be put together. The puzzle is it's like a puzzle, but you've got all the corner edges, and now it's filling in all the middle parts. You're slowly seeing it grow.
I'm stealing that. That's really good. I am completely stealing that because you're seeing what the vision is.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's not finalized.
And it's perfecting those small things.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's still moments we know that the way Ronnie Dyla wants to play, he wants to stop having the ball be brought back so much. He wants to play forward, keep it forward. I saw him on the sideline directing Dominic, directing players to push it forward, to keep pushing it, to keep doing those things. You're slowly seeing that start to develop, and you're seeing it a lot more. I think you're seeing a lot of players really come into their own. I thought the three up top, I said it, I thought at the very end, the second half, the connection between Tristan, Saba, and Maranchuk.
Yeah.
When they were connecting from Maranchuk to Saba, then to Tristan to Saba, especially that led up to the own goal.
Tristan was really good tonight in general. I think Saba is Saba. You know what you're going to get out of him. Maranchuk was looked maybe more comfortable today than he did in Chattanooga. Mm-hmm. You're getting glimpses of it. I want to see what the pairing is going to be in that double pivot.
Yep.
Because you've got Muyamba playing well, you've got Fortune playing well, you've got Click didn't play as well today as he did in Chattanooga. You've got Bartosz, who I thought had a really good 45 today. 2 of those guys out of 4. You know, the wingers. I mean, Ronnie talked about it after the game. Like, he was really happy with Luke Brennan. You got Luke. You got Shonday coming back. Edwin was really good today. You know, Miggy's going to play somewhere. Saba's going to play somewhere. So that's probably your starters, and that's going to leave Luke and Edwin and Shonday out, and they're going to be pushing to be that guy off the bench. It's going to get really interesting in those 2 spots, wing and central mid. Fullback is interesting right now because of injury in terms of who has stepped up. Hernandez, you can play him anywhere on the back line, and he's going to give you a shift. Probably going to be on the left while Amador's out because you don't really have somebody else who's as comfortable there. Edwards can play it, but you want him on the right. You'd rather have Ronnie on the left, Edwards on the right. Ronan Wynn, I think he's going to earn a first-team contract.
He's impressed me. He's impressed me a lot in the last couple of games, what he's been able to do. Him and Luke were tearing it up on that right side. I mean, I watched them, just the connection that they had. They were going
Luke
back and forth.
And Matt in the second half were really good.
Absolutely.
I mean, and they should be. You know, you expect it with those 2. The other thing that Jarrett and I talked about on the full-time report, Dominic Jonqui and what he has done, he's going to be able to play some games in MLS this season because he's on a pro deal. He becomes a homegrown next year. I don't know if you can accelerate that or not, but you might because he's been that good. Ronnie, like, his eyes lit up when he was asked about it in post-match media.
How many? I've mentioned Dominic at least 5 times the entire time we've been here. But you have to.
Worth it, though.
It's worth it. We've seen Dominic. I mean, when we did that academy game, we literally he walked out onto the field. And we were like, "Who is that?" And
the progression from seeing him in academy before to seeing him with Atlanta United 2 and playing very well. Then the academy games that we saw him play after his time with the 2s. Sometimes you see guys at that moment drop off because it's like, oh, I'm going back to play the academy. I don't really care. You didn't see that from him. He got better defensively, especially. These 2 games here, he has not looked out of place at all. You could even say he's been one of the better players on the field in both of these games. He's putting himself into that conversation of, can we accelerate this homegrown deal? Do we have the money? Do we have the roster spot? Can we do it? It wouldn't shock me if that happens.
I wouldn't be shocked either at all.
You know, one of my favorite things that Ronnie Dyla has said in the short time that he's been here, when we had the moment to chat with him, you know, one-on-one back when he first got here, one of the things he told me was, because I asked him, like, what is your kind of plan with the young guys? Like, how do you implement them in the preseason and into the team? And he gave examples. My favorite one was, sorry, being an Arsenal fan, we played Martin Odegaard when he was 15 years old. I'm not afraid to play somebody if they show they deserve it.
If you're good enough, you're old enough.
Exactly. And, you know, there has been this lingering kind of question going back to last year about, like, the depth at the outside back positions. And I think Jonqui, to that point, is absolutely proving that, like, maybe we don't have to worry as much. Maybe we don't need to go out and put somebody in front of him that's going to delay his growth.
Go back to what Ronnie said a couple of weeks ago when he was asked after training. Doug asked him about Noah Cobb being a fullback and getting some work there. And he's like, nope, I'm good. I got fullbacks. I think he said he had 5. And everybody's trying to do the math of, like, who they are. And I think the 2 that you couldn't figure out were Ronan Wynn and Dominic. And those are 2 guys. And maybe there's another 2s player that he kind of sees as somebody I could use if I need to in that position. We've got a whole bunch of new 2s players that we haven't seen as much of yet. You've got depth all over right now, really, except 9. Like, you've got 3 goalkeepers that we've seen, you can trust, things happen, they can all play. Center back, you saw it today. Noah Cobb, Efrain Morales, Luis Abram. Luis Abram's so underrated. You're missing Williams, you're missing Gregerson. No worries. Fullback, we went through it. Central midfield, we went through it. The 10 is maybe another spot you don't have a ton of depth. You're working Will Riley up there. In the 1v1 that I had with him this week, you know, he hasn't played that position very much. He's typically played in either a 2-man midfield at Stanford at times or a 6 or an 8. That's what he's used to. He's enjoying being the 10. I thought you saw today, he got into good spots. He didn't make things happen. The final product wasn't there, but he's understanding the role. So maybe that's the one when you're talking about a lack of depth anywhere on the field, it's the 10. But you've added a new number 10 who played as a 10 here before and can do that if you don't have Moran. And then you get back to the winger depth and you've got tons of options there. So it's the number 9 starter, really, that is the last piece for this team that makes you, from right now where you are, being 4th, 5th in the East. Like right now as you're currently constructed, maybe higher. Like I might be being a little bit negative on that. If you go get Emmanuel Latte-Lath, which it sounds like, I don't know, I go back and forth. Like it sounds like it's going to get done. Then you hear Luca Bendoni tweet out of Italy. It's not going to get done.
I think it happens.
Those Italian tweets. I think it does. I don't think it's going to be a straight line to it getting done. I do think we're going to have some twists and turns. But if you get him into this group with what he's done so far and what he can do in this group, you're talking about, you're probably expecting a trophy. And if you don't get it, then that's a little bit of a disappointment. You can never guarantee it. And that's always the thing we have to remind people of. Like, you can build the right roster. You can do everything right. Any sport, this is across everything. You can do everything right until the whistle blows. And then it can be chaos. Guys can blow their Achilles. Guys can completely lose their form. Things can happen off the field to affect a guy on the field. Like, there's so many different things that happen. They've done everything right up to this point. I think they've done everything they can on the number 9. When it gets done, and if it's the guy that it should be at this point, then you're talking about a team that I think, and I don't feel too great. It doesn't bother me to say it. I think they're an MLS Cup contender.
I agree with that. I've had these silent thoughts, like what's realistic for me to try to take my bias out of it. Like, what's realistic? But you look at this roster and it's like, they should be competing legitimately for silverware this year. And it's not like because, they're on the cusp. Like, you've seen the progression just in a week from your new head coach. You've seen what
a coach who's won MLS Cup.
Exactly.
And won in 3 different countries.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And then what the front office has been able to do and what they're still working on, like all the pieces are coming together. And then you have a backup number 9 talking about Tokushi, who I've been very impressed by just in his energy and everything that he's brought to the team. So it feels like even those times when the fixture congestion happens and, whatever else may be going on with the team, you have guys there that are going to put their front foot forward and really try to make something happen.
I like where it's all heading. Now you're getting into the part that you can't control, the actual games. Luck plays a factor. Injuries play a factor. Other things in the football gods play a factor. So we'll see. If anybody's got any questions on the stream, fire them off now before we go. Because we are going to go here shortly.
Yes.
What do you mean? We can't talk soccer all night?
I mean, we could.
They're going to kick us out.
Yeah, they might kick us
out. Not like I haven't done that before, but
we got to promote the jerseys and everything.
Grab that and hold it up and
grab this and hold it up and tell people about it. So we have, thanks to Scott Flood, the Flood Project, our friends at Kaiser Permanente, you're going to
need to get one of those, Tyler.
Yes.
Yeah, see?
Yes.
Yeah, get your SDH network.
White or light blue?
I'm going to go with the blue, honestly.
Oh, you're going so you're going with the Carolina blue on the navy.
I'm a blue guy.
Okay.
You can't
Fair enough.
Yes. And so what you can do
It does. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
This is news.
This is breaking news.
Breaking news
This is
from
great
Scott
stuff
Flood.
for me.
Yes.
Man.
Yes.
So you can, for those of you who are watching, get your SDH network kit. Thanks to Scott Flood and the Flood Project. Thanks to our friends at Kaiser Permanente, friends at Beyond Goals, Soccer for Good, all the things.
And the Moxie.
And because of that, it goes to the causes that we have as a part of our Soccer for Good chase in 2025.
Yeah, Soccer for Good. We have created a fund. We will have a official nonprofit partner when they are official. But very cool things happen in that to use whatever chaos that we create in the soccer world for good and giving more people an opportunity to play, referee, coach, grow the game. You know, it's something I take really seriously. The game's given me everything. I think when we talk about soccer in 2026 in the United States, what it can be with that World Cup, there's a lot of conversation about, well, are we doing enough, or is it going to be big enough, or it's not going to be as big as they say. Make it work in, grow the game, work people who are growing the game. Don't be cynical. Don't do that stuff about, oh, we have Messi and we're not doing enough with him. Don't do that. Don't do it. Focus on what you can do to grow the game. If you're not happy about those things, go support your local UPSL team. Go support your USL2 team.
Yep.
Go support the League of Clubs team. Go support whatever team. Go support the high school team.
Yes.
Go support the college team. Go support
Yes.
the women. Go support the men. Go support all of it if you want it to grow. Don't complain. Do something about it. That's what we're trying to do with the Soccer for Good Fund. We also have a whole bunch of other stuff. We've got an event series with Emory University coming up, which is going to be really cool. Atlanta is Soccer City, USA. Sorry, Birmingham, you're really good too. But Atlanta is Soccer City, USA for a lot of reasons, and we're going to talk about that. First episode of that is going to be February 24th. Stay tuned for location. Mark it on your calendars. U.S. Soccer is going to be involved in that at some point in the series. Atlanta United is going to be involved in that at some point in the series. Hopefully the Atlanta Sports Council is going to be involved in that at some point in the series. The colleges and their history, that's going to be talked about. A 6-event series to lead you up to World Cup 2026. And hopefully next week, we've got another announcement about a very cool partner coming on board with what we're working on. So lots of stuff as we get ready for the season. It's been hectic. And now we've got, 4 more preseason games to talk about before we get to opening day.
Yeah, 3 of them in Bradenton.
And then we've got high school games kicking off too, so don't even worry about that.
We got the Creek Cup coming up starting in a week and a half.
Chaos.
So 4 straight days of high school action at Johns Creek and at Northview, and it's boys and girls and all the things. Yes.
Any questions to talk about?
No, we're good.
Just comments.
Just comments.
Are they happy comments?
Yes, they are.
Good.
Soccer for Good OG says big things are happening.
Big things all over for soccer everywhere, and we just want to be a part of pushing that forward. This guy too, he does a lot of that as well.
I do my best.
Yes.
I do my best.
Your crew, shout your crew out.
Yeah,
Shout it out.
Scarves and Spikes, and we actually have some really good news soon as well. So,
I like a tease.
yeah.
Okay.
So for certain, one of those will be on March 1st, so right after the season starts. But other stuff on the way as well. So
So
and then
in the industry, you call that a tease.
that is a tease. Yeah, that is a tease.
I like it. I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
gonna,
I'm super
like,
excited.
Make
about
sure my notifications are on.
It. There
Yes,
we go.
absolutely.
Yes, and y'all should do the same.
Yes, all of you.
Everybody.
Do
So
it.
we will be back next with Morning Espresso on Monday.
Yes.
Hopefully with a forward from Middlesbrough done. What would an afternoon version of an espresso be? Would that be a cortado officially? Are we going to go cortado with it?
Whoa.
I mean, it could be a latte.
Could be a latte. It might need to be a latte.
Hey,
Need to be a latte.
could be a latte.
We might have to have a Monday edition because it's going to be hectic with the transfer window and everything
Oh.
in England.
Yeah.
Just so nobody gets confused, you could still sign him on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday or the following week or the following week. For Middlesbrough, they need to get it done by the end of Monday to add somebody new to their roster. They could still sell Latte Lath after that. We'll be covering all of that. I'll have Morning Espresso early before SDH AM starts at 9:05.
Yep.
And then just literally like have your notifications on, because as stuff breaks, like we talked about it on Full Time Report, you're going to need to pay attention to what Middlesbrough is doing on Monday. If they go sign somebody, you can feel pretty good about them selling Latte Lath. If they don't sign somebody, they still might sell Latte Lath. But if they sign somebody, you can feel good and order a latte and you'll be in good shape.
Or a mate.
That's a whole different thing that doesn't even apply to this.
But when he gets here with Miggy,
I don't know if he's a big mate guy.
I don't
I don't
think so.
remember
I don't
if he is
remember
or
him being
not.
that guy. Like Almada always had a cup.
Yeah.
A lot of the Argentines.
Tiago did, Tito did, I
Yeah.
think LGP did. I don't remember.
Slish started doing it. Interestingly.
Yeah, he did.
Whoa. He did.
That was very
Yes.
interesting. Bartosz has been into the mate lately.
Yes.
We'll see if Mickey gets into that, but maybe an afternoon latte on the SDH network on Monday. Stay tuned. But yeah, that's what's coming up next. Thank you, except for John not toggling the right things on audio earlier.
What else is new? It's preseason.
It is preseason.
It's
Say bye.
preseason.
Bye, and
Say
apparently Penta and Rey Mysterio were the first two for the Royal Rumble.
Well, nothing wrong with that. We'll watch
John's
that.
about
So
to,
we're
like,
going to go watch
log
that.
off
We're going to do that
without
kind of stuff.
saying
I'm going
bye.
to hit an end stream
Adios,
button.
everybody.
Mooch Platiel, thanks for dropping by. Thanks to
See
our
ya.
friends here at Monday
Thank
Night
you.
Social Club.